steam to clear off of what happened on the last hole. I mean, a double bogey there is just a huge misstep with a tournament that really in a game today, these days, you cannot take your foot off of the gas. In this year's final round, we saw Garrett Gurthie throw about 45 feet past this basket and then can the 45-footer coming back. Amazing.
Wow, that really looked effortless there.
Thank you.
He likes it. Saw his reaction on the tee pad, and we can see a little zoom in here. He will have a putt. Dialed it back a little bit from last year. We got Eagle McMahon on the tee, way up there, 500 plus feet away.
Yeah, this view really gives you the people at home the opportunity to see what these players are dealing with from the basket's perspective. Yeah, you know, Eagle just putting a little bit too much turn. That's something we've seen from him all day, finishing on the right side of almost every single fairway he's played. And here's Ricky Wysocki hoping to hold it off, and that's not going to hold off at all, putting himself in a very, very difficult position with a lot of woods in between him and the basket.
Let's take a break while they walk up the fairway, and we'll catch back up with, I think, Ricky's shot down at the green. And we're back, and the spectators and the players are still walking down the fairway, so they've got a little bit of a ways to go, but we're going to see if Ricky has any sort of shot from where he landed on the left-hand side of the fairway. We know that Eagle has some work to do on the other side, so nobody is parked.
No, not at all. But Kevin might have a little bit of a putt over there for sure. We couldn't quite tell where Garrett's disc landed. I think he was a little bit on the left side. But, yeah, we were talking there about Ricky Wysocki. And, I mean, really, Ricky is one of those types of players, and that's his disc coming into the basket right at that point. So Ricky always seems to find a way. In fact, back at Waco, when it seemed like Ricky was nowhere near the basket, he had the ability to make jump putt after jump putt after jump putt in this tournament so far up to this point. Amazing energy by Kevin Jones.
Wow, I think he just broke the internet. That was a huge putt from well outside circle 2. Incredible shot. And we're moving on. The little excitement is leading us into the last few holes here. Let us know what 15 is all about.
Yeah, 15, 270 feet, not much to talk about. I mean, look at the map. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees maybe on the map. Really, none of those come into play. It's just a little whip of the wrist for our players up the hill. It's really a hole that they all need to get at this point. As a commentator, as a fan, I'm looking for a star frame from our featured card today. I think Kevin Jones might have just given a little bit of energy back into this group. And I'll tell you right now, Val, these guys need energy coming into these last 4 holes. We have a great birdie opportunity, and then we have tough hole after tough hole after tough hole coming into the clubhouse. So no rest for the weary here, and no rest for us either. We're looking to see how these players finish. But, boy, Kevin Jones, 9 under par, just amazing.
Yeah, beautiful looking scorecard here. He is tied for 3rd right now. He's going for double digits if he can capitalize on this birdie opportunity.
Yeah.
Lots of screaming from the crowd. I'm sure lots of people rooting Kevin on. A nice shot. I mean, clearly he can hit putts from everywhere, so he's looking good for his birdie inside circle 1.
Like I said, it's just a flick of the wrist for these players. It's all about picking the disc and putting the right amount of speed. And this is exactly what I was trying to explain. This is one of those holes you just have to get. Because of the way the green slopes into the players, they can just dig a driver up that hill, maybe a powerful mid-range. We see Eagle with here, just sliding it up to the basket. It's a little bit below the pin. We'll see if Ricky can follow suit, and we'll see if we can get 4 birdies out of this featured card.
And Ricky does just that. So let's take a little break and we'll catch back up with the players putting for the birdies. Back on the green now, Ricky Wysocki, first to putt for birdie.
Oh no. Oh no.
No
This
way.
is not what Ricky needed right now. And this is, boy, in a way, Val, this is the tournament for Ricky Wysocki. Oh my goodness. Look how quickly he's playing. And airballs that putt. In a way, Ricky just giving up. It's so frustrating to see for Ricky Wysocki, but also his fans. And boy, that's going to take him to just 3 under par. He's 9 strokes back of the lead.
Huh. Not expected out of Kevin Jones, who's been literally hitting every single putt. A little bit on the right-hand side, the strong side. There's 2 players down. Let's see if Eagle can capitalize here. There we go. But man, I mean, things are just not happening for Ricky. There's literally nothing else he could have done on either one of those putts. It's just unfortunate that the way they hit and the way they fall and the way they roll, you just can't ever expect it.
Yeah, no, not at all. And there's Kevin just tapping in for his par. In the last 4 holes, we've seen Kevin make 2 incredible putts, but also miss 2 very easily makeable putts. Boy, just an interesting sort of juxtaposition in that sense to see that happen. But here we go. We're going to head over to hole 16, the only par 5 for our players. And this hole is one of the more technical holes in the sense that it's a downhill tee shot, really a placement shot. They need to try to place it in this gap here so that they have a nice open look over the lake, which leaves them about 310 to 320 feet into the green, over the water. The green slopes up towards the players, which actually helps the players coming into this green. So eagle opportunities here, depending on how our players get off the tee. And with the weather the way it is, I would think that all of our players are looking to get eagle opportunities on this hole. So we'll see how they play it. And we'll take a look here at the leaderboard. And Paul Ulibarri and Emerson Keith just holding strong, the only 2 double digits today.
Yeah, and look at that whole leaderboard is just stacked. Look how many players are tied for 3rd place. We've got Kevin Jones at the top of that list, Simon Lizotte, Chris Dickerson, Andrew Presnell, who's finished a couple hours ago now. Nathan Queen is hanging in there, tied for third place too, but still these players on this featured card have 3 holes to go, so they can still make it up. Kevin Jones is still on the cusp of shooting that double-digit round, but looks like the hot round today sits at 12 under so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm looking at it all, folks at home, and just trying to kind of take it all in, like kind of looking at the way the rounds were played. And one thing that we see consistent amongst our top 3 competitors right now, including Kevin Jones, is really how they played holes 3 through 10. Big chunks of birdies right there,
Right.
and just kind of dribbling in a few birdies here at the end.
Yep.
But yeah, as I said, in the last 4 holes, we've seen Kevin Jones miss 2 putts that we would assume that he would make. And then we've seen him make 2 that maybe are not so easy to make. So Kevin had shown the ability to make really difficult putts in this round, but he's missed 3 ones that we think he should have made.
Right. It's weird how that momentum shifts so quickly. I mean, you could be so confident in your putt on one hole, have that energy that we saw, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away. So it's a game of golf. A matter of inches, a matter of stroke by stroke. And this is a good view right here as the players take it all in as they set up to attack the last few holes of this tournament. Such a mental roller coaster for these players.
Yeah, and we do have just a little bit of time here as our second card, or our second to last card that teed off right in front of our featured group, is still up in the fairway, trying to figure out how to play this hole, this par 5. Again, it is the only par 5. But boy, if we just look at the score there, Ricky Wysocki at 3 under par. And I'm just looking down at his scorecard, and it's the scorecard that has the most orange on it of all of our players. It has 4 bits of orange and a little bit of darker orange on 13 there. So a double bogey, a bogey, 2 other bogeys for Ricky Wysocki.
He's sitting in tied for 35th place right now. He's got a lot of work to do in the next two rounds of this tournament. And here we are catching up on a little second card action. We're not yet in the place to call it lead card and second card, but it's nice to get another viewpoint of a few more players crushing it out there.
Yeah, and you can see Alex Russell throwing that shot. He left himself a little bit far back of the gap. It was sort of a tough angle that he had to take into this green. What these players are looking to do is at least get it over the lake in 2. If they're over the lake in 2, they're going to have an opportunity possibly for an eagle, but also potentially a fairly easy birdie, which is what everybody wants. They want birdies out on this course. And so that's what these guys are looking to be able to do right now.
I'd say it's all about the drive on this one. Put yourself in a good position. If you're able to work that drive to get yourself in a good placement, the rest is just throwing over the water. And I say that so casually, like, oh, that's just so easy. But it really is. I mean, once you get your drive down there, now the work is just wide open. It's all about just clearing the water from there. And if these players do, this is a par 4. This is a par 5.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. So we saw a couple eagles on this. If you're on UDisc Live, you could see a couple eagles. But I think this is a very easy birdie opportunity for these players.
It's interesting to say if it's easy, because really the tee shot requires somewhere in the range of a 400 to 450 foot, potentially even up to 500 foot drive that you are trying to land in a zone that puts you in a position to really hit, maybe a 40 or 50 foot gap heading over to the green over the lake. So if you put yourself in position like Paul Macbeth has done right here, and now he's throwing up and over the lake, yeah, it's definitely an easy birdie opportunity. But if you get caught up short, just like all of our other holes, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Wow, this is fun to see. I mean, the crowd's just building here, and We've got our feature card just taking a little break here. Do you think Garrett and Eagle are trading discs right now? Is Garrett telling him, you should probably throw this one. It's a little more stable.
It really is hard to say what they're showing, but you know, that's the one thing about disc golfers. It doesn't matter if you're one of the best in the world or if you're brand new. You love the discs. You love feeling them. Oh man, that one feels good. I want to throw that one. Of course, Eagle can't throw it right now, but you know, maybe after the round, these guys will go out and start bombing off hole one's tee pad or something. But yeah, they just love talking about discs, finding the best one. These are these guys' tools right now. They're their tools of their trade. They're very important to them.
And so, talking about disc golf, we have now been open at Bevelcraft Brewing for going on 3 weeks now. We've had disc golf playing in our tap room, and we have introduced so many people to this sport. But it's so fun to see the players that maybe haven't played in a couple of years come in and share the stories about how great this sport is and what a great community we have of disc golfers all across the country. And hopefully the people at the Bevel tap room right now are cheersing to all these great shots. And we're back in the action, and Garrett Gurthie leads us off with a really nice drive there.
Yeah, well, you can see how really we can judge this shot by how hard they're throwing. And so as I said, I mean, the hole's 850 feet. Once you get down to the edge of the water, it's only maybe 320, something like that. So this is a long, long carry. And look at Eagle going to the right again. And crowd gives us what we need to know. It swings back a little bit late, and it'll be all if he snuck through those last trees. He might be in the perfect position.
Wow. Yeah, he'd really have to sneak through those trees. Otherwise, he's completely blocked for a second shot.
Okay, Jones with maybe just carrying not as much speed. Oh, that looks absolutely perfect for Kevin. The only way, Val, I see that Ricky Wysocki has any chance in this event is if he picks it up right now. He has to finish these last 3 holes darn near perfectly. That's a decent start.
And another quick throw. He's done with it. Turns away so quickly, but we'll catch up with them on their second shots after a quick commercial break.
Are you obsessed with disc golf? If so, this is for you. DiscGolfBoxes.com. Premium hand-picked products shipped to your door every month. It's easy. 1. Pick your box size, the par, birdie, or ace. 2. Choose the brand of disc you would like. 3. Fill out the survey so we know exactly what you like. Go now to DiscGolfBoxes.com and sign up today. Use coupon code DGPT to save 10% on your first box. Go to DiscGolfBoxes.com to get your monthly box of disc golf awesomeness.
That was a nice little break we had there, and we're going to catch back in on the action from our featured card. Looked like everybody had pretty nice drives. There might be a little work to be had as we see Garrett Gurthie lining up and eyeing up shots. He's on the left-hand side of the fairway, and you can see there's a few trees in his way before clearing that water. So it's going to require a huge shot if he's going for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you just see on the right side of our picture here, that tree is really dead center in the the way he wants to play this hole. The pin is almost in line perfectly with that tree. So I would imagine we're going to see just a massive, big hyzer from Garrett. And again, the conditions are perfect for Garrett to try to execute this shot.
Wow. And this is going to be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slightly downhill.
Look at how high that is. Now coming into the green. Just a little bit on the left side. Nice smile from Garrett.
I had flashbacks to USDGC and the distance showcase. I mean, how many times have we seen Garrett on that stage there, crushing over a lake, using the height to his advantage there, and maybe that experience helped him out in that shot. But great shot by Garrett. And here we've got Ricky tucked up right behind this tree, taking the run up completely out of play.
Boy, that's a standstill sidearm that's just snap hooked over. And I'll tell you right now, Val, I don't have a crystal ball or anything, but that is all she wrote for Ricky. He's going to have to go down to the drop zone. Boy, it just seems like he just almost gave up in a way.
Yeah, this is a very frustrating round for him. A lot of things that kind of out of his own control, but he's letting the frustration get to him and throwing shots quickly, not really executing them like Ricky Wysocki does.
Yeah, and there was Kevin Jones. Kevin released that disc, and he basically knew right away. I mean, he felt like he had a really good shot, and his supporters certainly given him a lot of love. And look at this, Val. We see right in the center of our picture, Eagle McMahon. He got through, and now he's just in perfect position. And let's see what he does here. We saw Madison Walker in this same area. And she decided to throw a backhand, got caught up in the tree, went OB, and we see Eagle from what we believe is going to line up a sidearm. So I think this is the shot Madison should have thrown. It's definitely a shot Eagle's throwing.
Wow, look at that little bit of a bush there on the right-hand side. It's going to make his reach back kind of tough.
This is the best drive I've ever seen on this hole. And almost gets the albatross. Almost gets the two. Just a little bit inside the circle. And Ricky is now down at... Boy, and Ricky just stepping up and throwing. Not even thinking about it at all. And I mean, what a nice shot there by Ricky. But he's just so frustrated.
Man, I've been in this position. I know you've been in this position. It's the worst feeling in the world to have a round go in this way. And it almost feels even worse when you know there's cameras and you know there's live coverage and you know there's people out there watching. And as much as Ricky doesn't want to disappoint his fans out there, you're just in this bubble. And I mean, the greatest thing in the world could be happening to you that week, but during this round, this is all you're thinking about and all you're dwelling on, and it's just the worst.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we've both been there before, and if you know, for me, if I could say, and look at that, we see Simon Lizotte now double digits, our third player to shoot double digits. So good for Lizotte, and I think we're going to at least see Kevin Jones be at 10 under, if not maybe 11 under, depending on if he can capitalize on this eagle opportunity. But boy, yeah, you're right. You get stuck. It's like a fog that immediately lifts after you tap in the 18th hole, and you're like, oh man, no, it is, but it's like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. And you're already looking at the next round, but that fog just cannot break right now for Ricky. This is where, oh, and that was for Eagle. Oh, Garrett, I would have taken him to double digits as well.
I forgot what it took to get Garrett in that position, but a huge second shot to land him even with the basket. And here's Eagle just past the basket, 15 feet for Eagle. right in the heart. Wow, he made that hole look so effortless, landing in the perfect position on the drive. Made the rest of the hole really easy.
Yeah,
Isn't that what I was talking about?
absolutely. Here's Kevin. Now he's missed a couple of these, but he was not going to miss that one. That one for Eagle, taking Kevin to 11 under par. Look at that. He's enjoying this right now. Ricky just looking to get to the 18th hole, get to his vehicle, and work on tomorrow. So, I mean, it must be said, Val, Eagle, with that birdie, he's going to move to 8 under par. Eagle McMahon is still in this thing, and it just goes to show you his mental game is just right at the top, if not the best mental game in the whole sport.
That's right. 2 holes left. Here we are heading into hole 17.
Yeah, and here we are on hole 17, 660 feet. You got to go through the triple Mando. That's really not a problem for our players, but this is one of the most difficult holes on this course. And really what they're looking at is they're trying to get just to the left of that big tree, just on the left side of your screen there, puts them in a position to take the corner, which is really dogleg to the right, almost like a pure L, about a 90-degree turn there. And there's our pin position on just a little bit of a slightly sloping green, just left to right. Yep, I'm a golfer. I have to just use my hands and talk about the way it goes. So really the one big challenge on this hole is that the property line is up to the left. The more left you are, the better angle you have, but it brings that OB. The more right you are, it brings you into those woods, and that thicket on the right is something that you do not want to be in. We saw a couple players in there this morning. So it'll be interesting to see how our players execute this hole.
Here we are with the second card, really putting himself up to that property boundary, as you were mentioning, but did give him a perfect angle, throwing the sidearm there. Not sure if he was OB or not on that drive, but that was a crush to get to that spot.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's the thing, and we see now Paul McBeth here. If you can get it up by that fence line, you definitely have a great angle. Now you look at where Paul is, and so there's that tree that I was talking about right there, dead center of our screen. And if the players can be just to the left of that, they can have just this beautiful angle. But then throwing the sidearm into the green creates a little bit of an issue, but that was played absolutely perfectly. That's going to be a nice birdie opportunity. Here's Paul McBeth.
That's a perfect placement right there. Does go for the sidearm shot. You can see the right-hand side, low-hanging branches. He was able to push it far enough, so he is right there for drop-in 3.
So yeah, just like yesterday at the end of the Masters tournament, we saw all these great scores coming in. Typically the afternoon can be a little bit more difficult, but we're seeing some scores now really coming in. And when we came on the air, we had one player at double digits. Paul Ulibarri ended up in double digits, but we're looking at possibly maybe 5-6 players now that are going to end up in double digits. Paul McBeth is at 9 under. Garrett Gurthie's at 9 under. Simon is in the house at 10. Kay Jones could be the leader easily, depending on how he plays these last 2 holes in the clubhouse going into tomorrow.
Here we go. Fairway is clear, and Eagle McMahon is ready to rip.
So bad.
Oh boy, that's a huge grip lock.
Can he get
Oh
lucky?
my goodness.
Again, he goes right through the trees.
Wow. I mean, that's the best drive we're going to see. Off what seemed like a pure shank.
Thank you.
Kevin playing it just perfectly. I mean, he put himself just up over that hill, about 20 feet from that fence line. He's going to have a great angle. I'm still just absolutely blown away at Eagle's drive and how he was able to get through there.
I'm sure he's not expecting him to have landed where he landed. Is Garrett going for the basket?
OMG. I was about to say something even worse. That was easily OB. Hits the tree, kicks, spins, rolls. He's back in bounds with a beautiful angle. Here's Ricky Wysocki. Boy, what a hole.
Everybody's safe, and that property fence line is right there on the right-hand side. And as we wait for him to walk up to their shots, we're going to throw to commercial, and we'll be right back.
Looked over and it's like,
And we're back and still trying to absorb what just happened. Shots all over the place, cutting through trees, hitting trees to stay in bounds, while Kevin Jones just lands perfectly in the fairway here, and it looks to be that he is the first one up.
Yeah, I think Kevin actually dissed down on this hole. I think he played it just a little bit further back so that he can control the landing zone a little bit more, while we saw Garrett Gurthie absolutely just go full blitz as hard as he could, but, gets really lucky and inbounds. But K. Jones is a little bit further back.
This is a really tough angle from where he's at right now. Middle of the fairway, but very short.
And just completely worm burns it, even with just a little bit of angle, that it actually cut rolled a little bit there.
This is a good view of that most perfect landing zone, but we see Ricky up at the top of the hill, and at the start of that tall grass is the boundary line, and Ricky is tucked up right next to that, but should have a really nice look at the basket from here.
Ricky's released.
It'll all depend on the lie. We can see it right there clearly. It'll depend on if he has a little bit of an angle to access that basket from there. But again, Ricky Wysocki just 3 under par when, at one point he was 6 or 7 under par. I think it was 6 was the lowest he's been. And yeah, just the double bogey in the last 4 holes.
Well, and the crowd is building. It's just a blob of heads and bodies behind this featured card as Garrett Gurthie takes his relief. He was inbounds from what I've heard. And so he is looking straight down the fairway toward the basket, really pushing it to the edge there. But it's going to have a nice straight shot.
Beautiful shot by Garrett Gurthie, and he should be tapping that tree right there. And yeah, he's going to do it because he knows that tree saved him. I think I would have done the exact same thing. He knows that tree saved him from what could have easily been an OB, maybe not an up and down. We're talking bogey town, and now he's just in Birdieville. So very fortunate for Garrett Gurthie. But look at this. I guarantee you, folks, this is going to be the furthest we see anybody up. This is a jump putt for Eagle. Yeah, amazing. Just amazing.
I'm not sure we'll see him do that again in the next round. He probably doesn't want to try and test his luck again in the next round, but yeah, that did work out pretty great.
And here's Kevin's sort of worm burner. Oh no. Wow, big misstep by Kevin Jones here, who just seemed almost untouchable really this round. Now he's in a position to possibly be taking a bogey. Of course, we've seen him make, I believe now, 4 or 5 outside the circle putts.
Yeah, but there's this whole, for every shot that he's thrown has just been a little bit iffy. He hasn't really hit his line on any one of these shots, making his way down the fairway. And so hopefully he's still feeling confident after he just had that eagle on the last hole. Hopefully that putting stroke's still feeling strong for him. And here we have Ricky outside the circle. Not falling in, but also not rolling away. So he's going to be tapping in there for par.
So we're just looking at the UDisc live stats. Kevin Jones has made 5 outside the circle putts in this round. And here we go. This is for 6 right here. But this is for par. This is a huge putt for Kevin in the early going.
You kidding me?
Bam!
That's amazing.
Good for Kevin Jones. Wow, 6 outside the circle putts with another scramble check. Kevin Jones just lighting up the stats on this course today. Boy, impressive stuff. There's a couple tap-in birdies.
What a great feeling to rely on your putter so heavily and to be dropping putts after putt after putt. Huge putts, that is. I mean, that's such a different stroke. We saw him miss a few shorter putts that he probably should have had, but oh, that is just the best. Cashing huge putts in front of a big crowd. I love doing that.
Oh, man. Yeah, and it's giving so much confidence to Kevin Jones right now, and that's one thing. And we're going to see a slow-mo replay of this. His initial reaction is just like, bam, I know I've got that sucker.
Yeah, and he's got such great extension when he releases that putt, and there's no doubt that it's hitting dead center. So, man, great putt, Kevin. He's going to be reliving this video. I mean, you want to make those putts every time, and Kevin nearly has.
Yeah, and you know, Kevin's been one of those types of players. As our players are just hitting the 18th tee pad, we're going to have a little bit of a backup here. The second card has not even teed off, and 18, one of the more difficult holes. You can just see Ricky there, not quite sure how he's supposed to be reacting. I'll say this about Kevin Jones and really Kevin, Garrett, and Eagle. Yeah, early on, it didn't seem like Kevin was locked in, but he started making some big putts. All of a sudden, this confidence starts building. Garrett looks like he's locked in from the very beginning, makes a little bit of a mistake on the island hole, but just has been playing solid ever since. Eagle, sort of all over the place, and he's about to hit double digits if he can play this last hole well. And, you know, it's just interesting to see the way rounds can be created. I think it goes to say all these people at home need to understand that having a strong mental game, great rounds can be created in many, many ways.
Absolutely. And here we go. We've got some good action from the second card. Paul McBeth, first on the tee. Going for the big hyzer. I really like this line. We saw Jennifer Allen do it this morning. Really takes that tight accuracy drive down the middle of the fairway, out of play, and really widens the fairway immensely.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see the whole preview as we move forward with our featured card, and this just being the second card or the second to last card. But really, this gap that they're going through is probably about let's just call it 35 feet wide. but they're trying to throw a 450-foot drive. And not only do you have to get through the gap, but if you finish left, we have a property line over there, an OB line. And if you get caught up early, there's OB directly below these players down in the marsh below them as well. So all kinds of opportunities. And by Paul McBeth taking advantage of the better wind conditions on a day like today, he was able to put himself in a very nice position to potentially make birdie on this very, very difficult 18th hole. And yeah, the crowd, you were right, Val. The crowd is certainly built throughout this day. And one thing I might say here, it's about 6 o'clock local time. People got off of work and headed right out for a little bit of Friday afternoon. I think everybody in town, all the locals know the thunderstorms are coming. And so they might be watching us tomorrow from their homes, from the safety of their homes. And we'll see how tomorrow plays out. But just a fun day of disc golf so far.
It has been great and very entertaining. Kevin Jones just lighting up the basket. That's so fun to watch. But yeah, as you mentioned, the weather is on its way. So players like Kevin are very ecstatic that they played a great round today with 1 hole to go. Garrett Gurthie's shooting great. We see Eagle right there at 9 under too. Ricky has got to be disappointed he wasn't able to execute a good round today. Knowing what's in store for the next 2 days, he's got a lot of work to do.
And here we go. This is what it looks like getting caught up early and then just being on the right side of this fairway. This is making this hole just so much more difficult. This hole, just for everybody at home, but before our lead card tees off, we'll do the hole preview. But this is a par 4, 818 feet. It's no joke. I mean, it's a par 4. If you go about 400 feet off the tee, you still got 400 into uphill, side hill green.
With OB surrounding the basket.
Right.
This is not easy par 4.
I mean, last year, Ricky had a 4-stroke lead coming into this hole, so really it wasn't much to talk about. But as we come into the final round of this year's event, it'll be interesting to see if 18 becomes a factor.
Yeah, not really too much OB. I think it's the trees and just how technical each and every shot is on this hole that makes it so difficult.
You're right, and there we see the hole slide in on the right, and you can see how technical it is. I mean, once you get off the fairway, there's OB right and left down the entire length of the hole.
While we have a second, we should take a look at Paul McBeth's score. He is at -10 for the round today. Perfectly executed this drive. He could be sitting at 11, bumping his way up to 3rd place if he's able to capitalize on a birdie here.
And McBeth's going to go ahead and take the hyzer route. Did he miss everything? That's the big question, and he did. Putting it up, from what we can tell inbounds, he's going to have a birdie opportunity. And what we'll end up seeing once our feature card comes and plays this hole is if the players get into the fairway, there's a big section of trees right in the middle of the fairway, sort of forcing our players to go left or right. And either way you go, there's OB on the left and right. So it looked like McBeth took the right-hand hyzer line and executed it with high level of accuracy, and we'll see what he is able to do here. He could bring himself to 11 under par.
Yeah, hung up right there in those trees. Panning back, and it's going to be a little while until this card clears and gives our featured card the space to throw some crushing drives. But it's always funny. I mean, holes like this is where you do see the backups. Players expect to be crushing it so far down the fairway, so anything in the fairway can be a distraction. But at the same time, you probably have a player or two in the group hitting early and dropping down really short off the tee. So these technical but long holes can definitely build up some backups.
And a beautiful shot there, able to get all the way up into the circle 2 range. And here's what I'll tell you about hole 18.
Tell me.
That's got to be the most common phrase I use. I think we should have everybody at home keep a tally of that. But really, 18 is one of those holes. If you par this hole, you're doing just fine. Birdies are great on the 18th hole. It's really about just avoiding any sort of major disaster. Get yourself down the fairway, get yourself up, and give yourself a birdie opportunity. But it's really one of those holes you do not want to mess around with being off this fairway. Because for the most part, being off the fairway is OB.
I'm taking a look again at UDisc Live while we've got a second. But hey, look, Paige is hanging out, getting some artistic photographs here. We saw her play in this morning's round with the featured card of women, along with Jennifer Allen, Henna from Finland, as well as it's been a long day. But Paige is still out there in the action, catching live shots, live photographs. And I just want to take this minute to thank everybody that's been watching along. If you watched in the morning or you're just catching up now in the afternoon, thanks for tuning into the live coverage. Again, we're trying out a few more new things just to keep you on your toes, but hopefully they're working out in this afternoon. And I mean, it's fun for Nate and I to cover this live disc golf action. So we want to thank the Disc Golf Pro Tour for allowing us to have this opportunity and giving everyone this opportunity to watch disc golf for free. I mean, it's like we're all right there in that gallery watching this coverage from Arkansas.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're in Arkansas, we're in Bend, Oregon, and we have thousands of people watching around the country. And yeah, big thanks to the whole crew, the staff. And at the end of the day, it's just a real pleasure to be watching live disc golf from Arkansas. It's amazing. It really is. You know, Val, you mentioned earlier, we've had the tasting room open here at Bend at the Bevelcraft Brewing, and you know, we've had disc golf on there. We have a TV pretty much dedicated to just streaming disc golf 24/7. And we've had the opportunity to play a few of the older videos back when you and I were just young, and
last year.
Well, yeah, of course, just last year. Thanks. But no, we saw where disc golf was just about, well, let's just say 14 years ago. And it's grown so much. It's amazing to see all of these young players and all of these people that have decided to make disc golf their careers and their lives, playing here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and the greater disc golf tour in general. It's amazing. And I'm really just so happy to see it coming all together now for these players.
Yeah, it's really funny. A video that I loved watching was the 2004 Pro, and I guess it was a combined world. So it was a Pro-Am World that happened in Des Moines, Iowa. And I mean, that coverage and the graphics looked like it was still in the 80s. And so, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago. But to see where we are today, that we're able to bring you live coverage is so great. And we're going to check back with the featured card because it looks like they're ready to go. We've got Eagle McMahon on the tee here. One more hole to go.
And Eagle's going to take that huge hyzer line and putting it right down in the middle of the fairway. He's watching it with guarded eyes, but the crowd likes it, and I think we do too.
I think I do.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Garrett's going to take that same exact line. We can see that tight fairway gap right there in front of the tee pad, but this hyzer line really takes all those early trees out of play and gets you far up the fairway. That's what you need to do.
It really just takes out the early hit is what it does. It takes out that early hit. And this is interesting to see a sidearm from Kevin Jones off of this tee. I mean, we haven't seen this at all from him. And all of a sudden he goes for a sidearm and hits early and kind of dumps down into the low area there. Very surprising to see that play from him. I'm really surprised with that.
Ricky also choosing the big Sky Hyzer line. And I really think that's the perfect line for these players to be throwing. But we saw Kevin being able to execute the up the gut shot. So he's mixing it up a little bit. But we'll catch up with these players down in the fairway as we take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And back in the fairway here, I would expect Kevin to be up, and it's like he's grabbing a disc here, and yeah, he is the shortest off the tee with a sidearm shot, going for another sidearm, so playing that left-hand side of the fairway.
Yeah, at this point, just trying to put himself up in a position. Ooh, hits that branch. Wait, had he missed that, he would have been way up the fairway. And now Kevin's going to have to execute a very, very tricky shot. And speaking of tricky, we see Ricky over in the right-hand woods. And see, this is the fear with throwing the big hyzer. If you're hanging out just a little bit too far to the right, you end up in this bunker. And just past this bunker to the right is an OB line that begins and runs the whole right side of the fairway. So Eagle McMahon in a tough position. Seems like Ricky Wysocki in a very difficult position. So it'll be very interesting for us to see if we can, if these players can get up and just execute. I feel like if you're in this position, you're just playing this for par now.
Right. I mean, there's not a ton of options. Can't really, I wouldn't expect them to be able to carry their disc far enough to get near the basket. It's going to be a pitch out, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to put it up left of that center bunker of trees, which he just barely sneaks around. And he should now have a fairly open look up the remaining part of this 18th fairway.
Ricky's just on the other side of the shul there. Looks to be going the same line there.
Yeah, and all he could do is pitch out because he couldn't stay on that right side because, again, it's an OB line up that right side. But here's Garrett. We're going to see Garrett having this beautiful little gap up the right side. He just has to be careful of turning it too far to the right at all. This is our best position here. Garrett just knifing it through there. And putting it right up, and we see a little fist pump from Garrett back at his shot. The energy's flowing good in Garrett Gurthie right now. 10 under par, he's going to have a birdie opportunity while the other three in his group are just sort of struggling.
Struggling just a little bit, but knowing when to lay up when their shots aren't as perfect as they'd like. Kevin Jones is having a little bit of a difficulty, but he's in the middle of the fairway. might be able to give himself a look at the basket. But yeah, the 3 other players on this card have some work to do still. Kevin Jones.
A really nicely executed shot by Kevin Jones in a very high pressure situation. Even though we're just in the first round, there is still so much pressure put on each one of these shots.
So his shot did land inside the circle there. So he'll be for his 4. You see Ricky getting ready there. A lot of leaves there for his footing. But this is just a nice straight shot. We can see the Keen sponsored wall of OB. Ricky nestles it right by the basket. Let's see if Eagle can do the same. Ooh, a little short. He's inside the circle. But he will have a putt as the gallery marches up this fairway. Looks like Garrett's in the best position to show off here while the other players are just trying to clean up on this 18th hole.
Yeah, so it looks, well, it doesn't look, it's official now. Paul Ulibarri and Emerson Keith are going to hang on with our lead at 12 under par. Amazing round by both those players early on. Kevin Jones, if he can convert this par putt, will finish at 11 under. Garrett Gurthie with our only birdie opportunity to potentially tie Kevin, and we would see that as our lead card tomorrow. Paul Ulibarri, Emerson Keith, K. Jones, and Double G.
Bit of a tester here. That was for par. He will be tapping in a bogey, allowing him to finish at 8 under. Here's Kevin. That was his par putt, as you mentioned. He will finish now at 11 under for the round. Garrett Gurthie putting for birdie. And that puts him at 11 under to finish. Tied with Kevin there. And Ricky is excited that the round is over. Well, maybe he wants a few of those strokes back, but he finishes -3 for the round today. He's in 36th place, our 2-time and defending champion of this tournament. So not what he wanted to do today, but we did see some great golf, didn't we?
Oh, we absolutely did. And we also saw some golf that really kind of just blew our minds a little bit. You know, when you look at this this course and you really sort of break it down, it seems as like a course that the players can really manage pretty well, you know, shoot pretty well. But there's really so much trickiness and you know, just kind of tough little things that our players have to deal with. And we saw it. And really for Ricky, it came down to just these little mistakes. And once that double bogey happened, Ricky did not get a birdie for the rest of the round. And he even bogeyed the easiest hole in the course, hole 15 up the hill. So, boy, but let's move on from Ricky. I don't think we're going to see a 3-time champion in this one, although he might have other things to say about it. But look at that leaderboard. Just a lot of really good names on there and some names that we're not used to seeing either.
Yeah, it's pretty stacked, but there are some familiar names on there. We see Paul Ulibarri at the top, tied for first with Emerson Keith. So that'll be fun to watch him in tomorrow's round. Garrett Gurthie and Kevin Jones will be joining them. Simon Lizotte is in 4th place. He'll be playing alongside Paul Macbeth in the second card there. So we've got a lot of action in store for tomorrow. Let's just all cross our fingers and don't be doing any rain dances because I do see weather coming in, but let's hope for another beautiful spring day if we could.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for everybody at home, be prepared for potential coming on the air, coming off the air. We really don't know what is in store for us tomorrow at all. But all I can say is that this was a really fun day of disc golf. I had a lot of fun for sure. I mean, it was great to see, some of the great play from some of our players and also some tricky play from, a guy who's won this tournament twice in a row. So I will look forward to tomorrow, sitting right here with you, Val. I think we start early on, but other than that, it's been a lot of fun.
It has been fun, and we're going to be doing it all again, all tomorrow. You'll see our faces, hear our voices, covering the FPO lead card tomorrow morning. What time, Nate?
Well, I made a mistake early, so I'm going to take my time. I believe it's 10 Eastern time, not Pacific, 7 Pacific, and then right back here at 4:30 Eastern for the MPO.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you to the Disc Golf Pro Tour for making live coverage happen, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.